Hey folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with another edition of Finding Winners for a Friday, May 28th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below the video if you're using a mobile device. And what I'm going to do in this edition here, guys, is basically finding winners. I'm going to share with you my research and some of my findings. And I'm going to kick it off with Major League Baseball. I'll get to NBA and NHL in just a second. And, I talk about all the time, right? I look at the sports betting industry like the stock market. I look for when we're at the top in favorites, underdogs, overs, unders. And right now, on a 7-day average in Major League Baseball, we are hitting 63.7% of the favorites, 67 in the last 3 days. And look at this, 11-4 to the favorites yesterday, 9-4 the day before, 9-6, 10-5 on May 23rd. We are absolutely on fire with favorites right now. So the thing with betting favorites in Major League Baseball or underdogs is you don't know when this is going to turn, right? That's why I created this little tool here at ATS, is because I want to know exactly how the favorites are doing, how the unders, how the overs, the underdogs, and this way I'm not caught my pants down saying, how come I didn't know about this, right? So what I do is I look at the 1 day, 3 day, 7-day average, and that's part of my money management, right? So if I know on the 7-day average in baseball that we are hitting the favorites at a 63.7% clip, and my neutral market is 42.8 to 57.1, anytime I'm in this neutral market right here, then I'll bet 5 units on my plays, right? But until we are back in the yellow, in the safety zone, I guess you can say, I'm just going to bet 1 to 3 units, because we don't know if this is going to continue. Just like we didn't know the underdogs. Look at this. Look at the underdogs. It's very rare do you see baseball go into a stretch run like this. Like they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 days. Imagine that. Imagine betting baseball and the underdogs won 7 of the 10 days. It's you don't see that very often. In fact, after that run, you don't see it at all. In fact, the most they've ever won, it was this here. Look at this, 2 days in a row. And look at all the favorites. And this is what we're used to, right? In NHL, in Moneyline Sports, is finding, not finding, but seeing the favorites win on a consistent basis. And the underdogs will get their day. But because you don't know when the underdogs, or when the reversal point, the tipping point is going to turn back to the underdogs, that's what the only thing you can control is how much you wager on, right? So that's why I recommend my clients, look, and if you go to, I'll show you just a second how I rate my picks when I give out my picks to my clients. I tell them, look, if we're in a favorite market, I will always say bet 1 to 3 units. And if we're in the totals right now in the 7-day average, we can bet 5 units now. I feel safe. It just, look at a 1 month average of 60%. That is, to me, it's not, you'd be playing with fire, betting 5 units at a time, especially when the favorites have won. Like if you count the record here, the last couple of days, look at this, 20-8 the last 2 days. And then if you do that, 29 and 14. So that's a high percentage. In fact, yeah, it's 67% of favorites, right? So be careful betting Major League Baseball favorites. And the thing is, we don't know when the favorites or the underdogs are going to turn the tide, but lower your risk and bet 1 to 3 units. That's, to me, safe money management. Let's take a look at the NBA. A bit of the same thing in the NBA. Look at this in the NBA on the 3-day average. 78% of the favorites have covered the last 3 days. On a 7-day average, we're at 54.9. So we're just... let me see here. 54.9 and 57.1 is my average, right? The neutral market. So we're in the neutral market. So if you're betting the NBA, I would recommend 5 units, 1 to 5 units. But money line, nope, 62%. But very rare would I recommend money line 5 units on the NBA. It's because look at at the end of the year, the NBA favorites money line wins 66.7% of the time. Over unders. We're in a bullish market now for the over, so I would only recommend 1 to 3 units if you're betting overs or unders in the NBA. And let's take a look at the NHL, and let's see what's come in the last couple days here. So the last 7 days in the NHL, favorites 58.9, so we're just a point above the neutral. So I would only bet 1 to 3 units on the side. The total, fire away on 1 to 5 units. We're at even Steven here, 50%. So you can fire away with totals. For me anyways, what I recommend my clients. So again, when I go to my clients, and I'll give you guys a bonus here today, I'll show you my picks. So you can see right here, last night, I recommended 3 units, because we were in a favorite market, right? 1 unit to the over, and then Denver Nuggets was our top play, 3 units in basketball. So what you want to do is, knowing that we're in a favorite or a bullish market for favorites or unders, or in this case NBA, the favorites, then I only recommended 3 units until we get back to a neutral ground, right, on the 7-day average. So that's how I recommend it to my clients. All right, that's the SBI. Let's take a look at the let's go to the ATS calculator. I know a lot of people love this here, so I'm gonna do the NBA today, and we're gonna go LA Clippers. I'm gonna go LA Clippers right down here, and then I'm gonna fire away here on the Dallas Mavericks. Now the Clippers are a 3-point favorite. The over/under is 219, and I got the number here at the Clippers winning by 2.26, and the over/under at 223.91. So I like the Clippers and the over tonight in that game, according to the ATS calculator. I'm going to reset the button here. I'm going to go to Brooklyn against the Boston Celtics. Now this game is in Boston. Now here's the interesting part: 5.6 for Brooklyn and 2.26.46 for the number, right on the number. I wouldn't even touch the side. That the total is 226.5, and I got 226.4. You round it off, that's 226.5. I wouldn't touch that, but I got a feeling there's a big momentum here for Brooklyn. A lot of people are going to be betting the Brooklyn Nets tonight. I think I don't think you touch this game. Personally, I was all over Brooklyn until I saw the forecast here, until I saw this number, and I said, you know what? This smells like a trap to me, and I'm not going to touch it. Let's go to the next game here. New York against Atlanta. The New York Knicks against the Atlanta Hawks. And we got Atlanta winning by 1.15, and the over-under at 216.88. So we do like it to go over. And I got a feeling a lot of people are going to be on Atlanta tonight, and I think the New York Knicks is where you want to go in that game right there. All right, let's take a look at some of the let me see, where's the because we're in the playoffs, and one thing, I'll do the NHL playoff. So let's go to NHL. Actually, you know what? Let me go to the NHL and the calculator. And again, if you are new to the Raymond Report, this is called Finding Winners. And basically what I do in this edition here is I do my handicapping. This is, people always ask you, what do you do when you handicap? I'm showing this is what I do right here. I do my research. I look for value. And I'll show you a good value tool that I have here at ATS Stats. I look for value. I look for the percentage play. And then I look for performance cycles. And that's what we're doing right now, right? We're looking at cycles in some of the sports. So I'm going to go, so the Minnesota, I was going to say North Stars there, old school, but the Minnesota Wild against the Vegas Golden Knights. And according to our numbers, we do have home team winning by 1.4, the over-under at 5.4. But what I'm going to do, look at this. I'm going to take out the last 10 games of each team and to see if there's a difference. And that's how you can use the tool here. And let's take out the last 5 and then do the last 5 here. I just want to see if there's a big difference on the total. 5.6, so it's going up. It's going the other way. So how about if I take the home team's numbers away from Minnesota, and then I take the road team's figures away from Vegas, and let's see what I got here now. 5.65. Okay, I like the under in this game here tonight. And when I looked at this game, I'm going to show you something right here. And I did this in a video this morning. The 4 of the 6 games between Minnesota and Vegas have a total combined goals of 4 goals or less. So you look at game 1, it was 1-0. Game 2 was 3-1. There's 4 goals. 7 goals. That was the not the option, but the abnormal game that no one expected. 4-0 here. 4-2, 6 goals here, and then 3-0 here. So 3 of the 6 games have a shutout. And I'm expecting a 1-0 type game here tonight. I think both teams are going to be very careful. Don't want to make mistakes. They're going to play cautious. And I think you're going to see a very low-scoring game tonight in Game 7 between the Wild and Vegas. And that's why I'm going to lean to the under. I think the under is where you want to go in this one here tonight. All right. Here's the tool I want to show you guys. So I'm going to go to my dashboard. And, you know, I talked about it. I did a little video on it in my podcast yesterday about value. And so I'm going to go to PVI SOS. And I'm going to go to Major League Baseball right here. Now, what I do in this segment here, or with this tool, is I look at teams. So let me go to Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's playing. Actually, no, let me do the Chicago Cubs. They're playing at 2 o'clock. Maybe when you're watching this video, it's already gone. But so here's the value tool that I use here. So Chicago's at home. And you know, in the Raymond Report, I label my teams A, B, and C. A are teams that are 60% or higher. B are 50 to 59.9%, and C-type teams are teams below 500, right? So Cincinnati is a C-type team. They're below 500, and the line today is minus 172, 6.5. And when the Chicago Cubs are at home against a C-type team in the Raymond Report, the PVI, Parity Value Index, Strength of Schedule, they are 7-6 at home, but 4-9 to the under. So this might be a game to go under. And the average line for Chicago when they are at home against a team that is a C-type team, a team below 500. So you look at these teams now: Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Washington. These are all teams below 500. I don't know if Milwaukee's below 500 now. They might be above it. But at this time here, they were on April 5th. They were a team that were below 500. So no, they're 25-25. But this is good. Because you wonder, on April 5th and 6th, what was the record of Milwaukee? Well, according to this, they were a C-type team. And at that date, April 5th and 6th, so let's say they started the year 0-3. I'm just saying for example, what's the mindset of the bookmaker? What's this mindset of the public, right? Oh, they're not starting strong. They're 0-3. They're not a good team. They're below 500. There's a mindset. There's a perception, right? So you want to do perception versus reality, and this is the perfect perception versus reality tool, because the perception of home games for the Chicago Cubs versus teams below 500 is minus 133, and today's line is minus 172. So they're overvalued today against the Cincinnati Reds. All right, let's go to the next game. I'm going to take a look at Milwaukee taking on the Washington Nationals. Now, Milwaukee is a B-type team. We just talked about that. And when they're on the road against a team below 500, 4-6. So they're 4-6, averaging 4.3 runs for, 3.8 against. And let me see here. I did Milwaukee versus C-type team. Yeah, the under. Where was the under? So what? Milwaukee's a B-type team. Washington C. So this is Milwaukee on the road. Okay, so I must have been looking at the wrong one here. Let me go back to. I must have been looking at Washington. Yeah, let me take a look at Washington. So Washington at home against a B-type team. Yeah, here it is. Right here. So when Washington's at home against a team like Milwaukee, a B-type team, they are 2-2, but look at this, 0-4 to the under. 0-4 to the under. So maybe the under is where you want to probably look at that game here today. All right, let's go to the next game. The New York Mets taking on Atlanta. Now, the Braves are a 148 favorite in this one. So the New York Mets are at home, and they're playing the team. And look at the difference. So they've had, let me see here. Atlanta, so how many games here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'll just look here. 14 games against C-type teams. They had 1 game against the B-type teams, and then 4 games. So total of 5 and 4. 19 out of 19 home games for the New York Mets, 14 of them have been against teams below 500, which explains maybe why the New York Mets are having a good season so far, and they are 24-20. I don't know what their home record is here. I'll just bring it up on the side right here. Let me go to the New York Mets and the home record. But while that's loading up, look at this. 11-3 against C-type teams. So those teams were Miami, Washington, Arizona, Baltimore, Colorado. Teams below 500. The average line was minus 185, and their line today is plus 140. And they've never been an underdog against a C-type team. This is the first time this season that they're an underdog against a team that's below 500 in the standings. That's pretty, interesting fact right there, right? And at home this year, as you can see, 11-3 against C-type teams, and they're 14-5. So they're 14-5 at home this year, and 11 of those wins were against C-type teams, so teams below 500, which could be like perception versus reality. It tells you right there that maybe the New York Mets are not really that the beneficiaries of a soft schedule, right? They've had a really good, and that if you're wondering why is Atlanta favorite, that's probably it right there. This is why Atlanta is a favorite on the road. And they're also sending Ian Anderson to the hill against Taijuan Walker, though. Taijuan Walker, he's 7-1 for when he starts for the Mets, so pretty good record right there. I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's take a look at another one here. Let's go to the other New York team. Let's go to the New York Mets, Yankees. Minus 250. Garrett Cole's on the hill today, and you'll be surprised. They're not that good on the road against teams that are below 500 on the road. Only 10-9. But look at that. 19 of those games were against teams below 500. So again, the out of what did I say here? 19. So plus 5, 23. So let me take a look at the 24. Sorry, New York Yankees. So they should be. Let me see. What's their road record this year? So the New York Yankees on the road, 14-10. All right, 14-10. Right. So if they are 14-10, yeah, I just could do the math right there. And look at that. Just like the New York Mets, right? They've been beneficiaries of a weak schedule on the road, or teams they've been facing have been weak. They've been teams that are C-type teams. All right. Let me see here. Let me go back here. New York Yankees. Yeah, so here's the C-type teams that they face on the road. So in this situation, they're only 10-9. So be careful if you're betting the New York Yankees today. I know the computer has Detroit winning, so that's the reason why I brought this to your attention right here. Chicago White Sox taking on, let me see here, Chicago White Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Now, Baltimore's on a pretty bad losing streak right now. What was it, 10-11? Yeah, 10 games. And Arizona's on 11. So Chicago White Sox, a B-type team against Baltimore's a C-type team. Another, and you're wondering, all these teams like the Mets, Yankees, and the White Sox, yeah, they're in first place or they're having a winning, winning season, but they're benefiting from playing weaker teams. 11-5 at home against C-type teams, and the average line is minus 167. So what's their line here today? The White Sox 215. So a bit overvalued here. The perception is that whenever the White Sox are at home against teams below 500, the average line should be 167, and now they are overvalued today at minus 215. So I don't think I would lay minus 215, even though they're 11-5. You can tell right here that's the perception of what the line is, and now the reality today is minus 215, right? So they're overvalued according to our the Raymond Report. Let's take a look at Oakland against. Let me see, Oakland against the Halos right here, and Oakland against LA. Now Oakland's at home, and they're facing a C-type team. 9-4 against C-type teams, and you know what? 6-5 and 1. So you got 6, you got 11 right there, so 17. So they've had more games against quality opponents, right? So you look at their line; they've never been a dog against a C-type team. The average line is minus 145, 149.8, and tonight they are. Let me see, Oakland minus 190. So again, overvalued. So be careful if you're going to bet that game there tonight. The next game I want to look at, St. Louis. St. Louis against Arizona. Arizona, I know it's easy to handicap when you're on an 11-game losing streak, but when St. Louis is on the road against C-type teams, 7-3, the average line is minus 125, and they are listed tonight at 107. All right, so 107. So there is value on the Cardinals. Keep in mind, when they've been on the road against C-type teams, they've been favored 5 times, but they've also been a dog 5 times, and the average dog price is 113, and the average score is 3-5 for the Cardinals. So Cardinals are in a good spot here tonight, 7-3 and 3-7 to the under against C-type teams on the road. And you want to take a look at let's take a look at Arizona. See how Arizona does against B-type teams, right? St. Louis is a B-type team. B, yeah. So Arizona against B-type teams, they are 1-2. So not a lot of occasions, a lot of games against those type of teams. And then so we took a look at that. and the Dodgers. Okay, we'll look at the Dodgers. Dodgers at home against an A-type team in San Fran. They only faced one A-type team, and it was San Fran on May 27th, and it was a 4-3 win. So we don't have a lot of occurrences right there. And the line was 145 on that day, and tonight the line on that game for the Dodgers is 144. Right there, right? So the consistency of the bookmakers there. And let's take a look at San Fran against an A-type team on the road. So San Francisco, they've had more. Look at that. They've faced here at home. So at home they faced 5 A-type teams, and on the road they faced 5. So they face more opponents on the road. Or I didn't see Atlanta. I'll have to check LA. So in total 10. Let me take a look at the Dodgers. I didn't see the Dodgers road teams against A-type teams. I want to see how many times they face an opponent above 60%. Oh yeah, they have. Look at that. 8-3 on the road. So they've been road tested here. 8-3 against teams above 500. So San Fran, let me see, Dodgers, San Francisco, Milwaukee at one point was an A-type team on May 1st. That's when Milwaukee was having a good run. Seattle at the beginning of the year. Seattle was a good team at the beginning, and then they faded. And then San Diego also, but they are still an A-type team. So you can see Dodgers battle tested on the road, right? All right. So those are the value, the perception versus reality. I want to show you that because I'm always talking about value and perception versus reality. And you can see there is value in some of the things, but you got to really get into the numbers. And we saw that, right? We saw that St. Louis, the under, 7-3 to the under, and 7-3 versus C-type teams on the road. So if I were to play one of the picks here tonight, St. Louis Cardinals, I think would be one of my top plays. Okay, let's take a look real quickly at the scoring. Or we'll take a look at some of the games because there's one thing I want to show you here. Let's go to Major League Baseball Premium. There's Cleveland. Where's Cleveland? So one thing, they're playing the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. And I do like the Blue Jays here tonight. Hyun-Jin Ryo's going. And Cleveland does not do well at home against left-handed pitchers. In fact, when you look here, if you're on the Raymond Report and you go look at Cleveland and you go right here versus left-handed pitchers, 1-7 on the season. So the Cleveland Indians are 1-7 at home against left-handed pitchers. But you know what? I checked their record at overall, and they're like 10-3 or 10 and let me see. I'll show you. It's strange. They're 1-7 at home against left-handed pitchers, and I talked about this last week into the one of my videos, saying that for some reason some teams, when the dynamics of the parks, I don't know if they're picking up the ball late or early. No, it had to be late, not early, because if you're 1-7, that means you're losing. That means you're not hitting or you're not scoring, right? So let me take a look at Cleveland on the road against lefties. Cleveland left-handed this season. And look at that, 10-6. And then if you look at home, when they're at home, 1-7. Very interesting. So I thought that was, and that's why Toronto Blue Jays will be one of my top plays here tonight. All right, let me take a look at some of the other games here. New York Mets and Atlanta. Just waiting on the page. Sometimes the page takes a while to load up. There we go. So take a look at Taijuan Walker. Now the Mets are 7-1 in his starts this year, but Ian Anderson's been good too. They're 7-2 in his starts, and the value, I had the Mets here, the daily market value index. I had them at -106, and I'll show you another tool, another way to gauge value. You hear it all the time. There's value. There's value. Well, how do you gauge value? It's perception versus reality. The perception of what the bookmaker is perceiving from the public, and he's gathering that information or the action of what's happened, and there's a perception to that, right? And then you got to balance it out to see if you can get action on both sides of the ledger, because you want half the room betting one game, the other half the other side. So this way you make your juice as the middle guy, right? The bookmaker. So 7-3. Where was I here? Okay, the -106, and looking at the price tonight, 138. So you're getting great value on the New York Mets. They're 14-5 at home, but we saw that, right? It was against a lot of teams that are below 500. You got a below 500 team here tonight in Atlanta. And let's take a look at Atlanta so far. this season on the Raymond Report trends. So nothing really standing right out that really grabs my attention. A lot of low occurrences. So far this year, teams that facing the Mets on the road are 5-14. So that does help the New York Mets here tonight. And let me see for the New York Mets. 9-1 after a non-division game. 6-2 versus division opponents at home. 12-3 versus conference opponents. 6-0 coming off a National West Division opponent. So you can see a lot of good numbers. 8-3 coming off a win. 7-1 versus an opponent that has a 41 to 50% win percentage. So you can see a lot of good value here on the New York Mets this evening. All right, let's take a look at the market. And I'm going to show you this tool, another tool I have to how to find value when you're doing your handicapping and you want to compare your line to the bookmaker's line, but you're looking for a tool, right? So you go to the market index, you go to MLB, and on this page here, you're going to notice that there's three different colors. There's green for bullish, there's yellow for neutral, and then there's red for teams that are bearish. Teams in baseball, I'll just show you that in a second. In baseball, if you're if you're in green, that means you're 5-2, 6-1, or 7-0 in your last 7 games. If you see yellow, that means the team is either 4-3 or 3-4 in their last 7 games. And when a team is bearish, that means they're either 2-5, 1-6, or 0-7 in their last 7 games. And there's baseball right there. So you can see every team in green is bullish right now. So that means they're either 5-2, 6-1, or 7-0 in their last 7. So you got A type teams. B, I'm always looking for a C type team. So Atlanta. So Atlanta, that's why maybe they're a favorite here tonight, because they're bullish, even though their record on the year, they're only 1 game below 500, but they're still below 500. They're bullish in their last 7. They're 5-2. And my line in this game, -140. So you see that right here at the end. I call it the daily market value index. And what you want to do is take this line at the end here and compare it to the line that you have today. So for instance, on San Diego, now San Diego is playing tonight against Houston, and I have Houston favorite -108. And if I were to buy San Diego on the stock market today, they should be a -193. So this here is the, you want to take all these numbers, you want to find out how they're doing, and you compare it to the bookmakers. It'll tell you if you have value. And in fact, if you go to the tip sheet, I put this on the tip sheet. This is the number one thing I do each and every day. I go to the tip sheet, I print it out, I go to Major League Baseball, and then what I do is I compare the line right here, the value index, and I compare it right there to see if I have value. Now you see the Cubs are playing here. They're 172. They should be a -118, but they're overvalued here today. So the reason why they're overvalued is because who they're playing, right? Cincinnati, the Gutierrez, not a well-known pitcher. They're the 22 and 26 on the season. They're 27. They're bullish right now, so they're in a bull cycle, and you can see a lot of good things pointing towards them. So Chicago Cubs could be a nice play here today. But again, you want to take this value line here and compare it to the bookmakers, and then this is how you will know when you have good value into your play. All right, guys, there you have it. That's an edition of finding winners. Oh, before I go, I said I would look at the top 10 scoring of baseball and the top 10 pitching or defense. So let me take a look right now in baseball. And so right now, the top offensive teams in baseball, we'll start from number 10. It's San Diego, averaging 4.6. Minnesota, 4.7. Atlanta, 4.7. Cincinnati, and 7th. Toronto, 6th. And your top 5, White Sox, Tampa Bay, Boston, LA Dodgers, and Houston. And your top defensive teams, San Diego, only averaging 3.1 runs against. White Sox, number 2. Giants, number 3. Yankees, Mets. All these teams have great pitchers. Dodgers, Marlins, Indians, Tampa Bay, and the Cubs rounding off the top 10. And if you click on this link right there, so you got overall standing and game matchup. This way you can gauge the offensive ranking against the defensive ranking. So this way you have an idea what you're getting yourself into when you're handicapping a game, right? So the New York Yankees ranked 23rd on offense, ranked 4th. So you know they're doing well. So I'm looking for mismatches, right? Something like two teams going at it that you wouldn't expect. So a mismatch, right? Like Atlanta ranked, like look at the Mets. The Mets ranked 29th on offense, but ranked 5th on defense. So this can work either way here. So even though Atlanta is not that well, pitching has been a problem this year for the Braves. 4.6 runs against. They're ranked 20th in the league on defense, but they're ranked the top 10, right? They're in 8th rank. So this is going to be a good matchup to watch. Let me see what else is there. Dodgers number 2 and number 6. So when you look at the difference between these two teams, right here, the offense for San Francisco, they pitch well. They don't score a lot of runs, right? But even though it's 4.6, it's much better than it was since the beginning of the year. They're getting better at hitting as a club. It was like 3 point something at the beginning of the year. So let me check out the other ones here. White Sox are doing well, top 10 in both divisions. Minnesota, what's killing Minnesota this year is pitching. Look at that, 25th. And Houston, number 1 ranked team against the number 1 defense. Look at that. This is a good matchup tonight. You got the number 1 hitting team up against the number 1 defensive team in the San Diego Padres. All right, that's an edition today of Finding Winners for a Friday, Freaky Friday. It's May 28th. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you are interested in the Raymond Report or the membership here at atsstats.com, all you got to do is go to the website, and I'm running a sale right now. All my premium picks for the year, 1 year, NFL's coming, college, hopefully we get some CFL, and you get my Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, all for $99, 27 cents a day for the year, and you get my top plays, my best bets each and every day for only $99 for 1 year. All right, have yourself a great weekend. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Cheers.